Greetings gamers, ex-gamers and friends and family members of gamers. It's day 7 of Game Free January and I have to say I'm not even thinking about gaming and have felt no desire to return to gaming. That's nearly a whole week off gaming with no obvious side effects that can be categorically attributed to lack of gaming. I also had a better night's sleep last night compared to the last few days, so it probably was just the temperature. I asked my family if they'd noticed me being more irritable than usual, and the general consensus was that I was no more irritable than my cantankerous old self. I also haven't missed the gaming, so the gaming wasn't filling a void in my life, which brings me to the topic of today's video, which is depression. Depression is a huge subject and volumes have been written on it, so much so that I can feel far safer talking about depression than talking about gaming withdrawal. What I find interesting here is the number of symptoms gamers in withdrawal report that overlap with depression. Let's just look at a website dealing with depression, bearing in mind depression is a complex condition affecting different people differently, with mild, moderate and severe symptoms ranging from seasonal low mood on the mildest extreme to suicidal ideations on the most severe extreme. Feeling down, upset or tearful, restless, agitated or irritable, guilty, worthless and down on yourself, empty and numb, isolated and unable to relate to other people, finding no pleasure in life or things you usually enjoy, a sense of unreality, no self-confidence or self-esteem, hopeless and despairing, suicidal. You know, some of these feelings seem eerily familiar. What about the signs other people might notice? Avoiding social events and activities you usually enjoy, self-harming or suicidal behaviour, finding it difficult to speak or think clearly, losing interest in sex, difficulty in remembering or concentrating on things. Hello, this one's interesting. Using more tobacco, alcohol or other drugs than usual. What about becoming increasingly immersed in the artificial realities of video games as a form of escape from actual reality? What else is on the list? Difficulty sleeping or sleeping too much, feeling tired all the time, seen that somewhere before too, no appetite and losing weight, or eating too much and gaining weight, physical aches and pains with no obvious physical cause, moving very slowly, or being restless and agitated. We should bear in mind that neither the list of symptoms and signs associated with depression in the Mind website, nor the list of withdrawal symptoms in the Hooked on Gaming website are exhaustive. This leads me to wonder if gaming addiction is masking other mental health issues such as depression. Basically, the gamer starts suffering from depression and so retreats further into the game as a way of alleviating the undesirable symptoms. Growing increasingly withdrawn from real life might have less to do with the addictive nature of the game and more to do with the depressed person's perception of the unbearably repulsive nature of real life. That being said, video games are designed to encourage people to keep playing, so we can't say that there isn't a pull and hold exerted by video games, but I wonder if a person who is suffering from depression isn't being pushed away from real life by the depression, while at the same time being drawn ever further into the game. Claiming that there is no such thing as video game addiction withdrawal, and it's all just depression, would be an unfair oversimplification. If we focus only on the similarities and ignore the differences, we can lead ourselves to mistake similarity with identity. Psychologists and academics studying video game addiction tend to talk about depression as a comorbidity with gaming disorder. It could well be that excessive gaming and the sudden withdrawal of that gaming could trigger a state of depression, but it could also be true that the onset of depression could drive a gamer into problem gaming and then on into full-blown addiction. It is also possible that the two diseases could coexist independently of each other. In previous videos, I've concentrated on how video games could well be addicting and looked at the similarities between video game withdrawal and actual drug withdrawal, and the internet is awash with testimonies from people whose lives have been ruined by problem gaming, and I certainly don't want to belittle their experiences. But while we're on the topic of depression, I have to say, when I was going through my teenage depression, my gaming console really helped me. I had other coping mechanisms like going for very long walks and learning computer programming and listening to music, but gaming was a big part of my recovery. I sought no help for my depression, and while I was going through it, told nobody about it. My depression came on all by itself with no obvious cause and lifted all by itself with no obvious reason. All I did was survive from age 13 to age 19 without actually killing myself. Although, at the worst part of my depression, I slept with a bottle of pills under the pillow, and each night I would try to think of a reason to get up the following morning. Sometimes trying to make progress in a game was one of the reasons for choosing not to kill myself that particular night. In those days, there weren't such things as big online games. We just had a plethora of offline games to play and enjoy, but they sure took my mind off my problems and helped me cope with my depression. I dread to think what would have happened to me if my parents had taken my console off me at that stage. For me then, depression was the problem, and gaming was, if not the solution, certainly a big part of the solution. I'm not saying it will be the solution for everyone, of course. If you feel that you might have a problem with excessive gaming and are worried you might be developing an addiction, why not follow along or try out this simple test going game-free for a month? Remember, it can be any month and you don't have to start on the 1st. Why not post a comment and let me know how you're doing, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But as for me, big fat hairy 6 days and counting non-gamer, I'll look forward to seeing you in another video.